it's great. It makes for great television. So that's why we're doing it. First of all, as you know, we're trying to plan a long-term occupation, and one of the things we're gonna set a little bit of we're gonna copy Zagati Park really quick. If you agree with something, you raise your hand like this. Okay. And if you disagree with something, you go like this. And if you're just meh, just go like this. Okay. And we're basically right now proposing a place for long-term occupation. And one of the areas there's 3 areas that we're suggesting is basically one in Cook's, one at the intersection of San Pablo and El Paseo, because it is a very public area. In fact, there's nice grassy areas there in the island. Not quite a big, into this public street. So that's one idea. One of the other idea too is the Palm Desert Civic Park. Now it's perfect because it's right there. Palm Desert is a central location. It has bathrooms that people can use, facilities, and it's right next to the college where our numbers can actually be augmented. So there's that as well. Plus it's a walking distance. So if we want to do marches through El Paseo, a very public area. So that's a part of that. Anyway, I would like to share a speech that I gave actually a few days ago, last Tuesday. It's called "I Am the 99%," but I've kind of shortened it and revised it a little bit. And it's, what is it called?
He has an
It's
mask.
a lot shorter. You guys know what Occupy Wall Street is about, so I didn't need to kind of, I don't need to.
We know.
Exactly. So, would you like to say something?
No, I'll let you speak first then.
Definitely. Excellent. So I would like to begin by quoting Frederick Douglass. He said that those who profess to favor freedom, yet deprecate agitation, are people who want crops without plowing the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the awful roar of its many waters. This struggle may be a moral one, or maybe a physical one, or maybe both, but it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and never will. And this is why we are here to demand. We're gathered here today in solidarity with our brave brothers and sisters in occupied New York City and in every occupied city in the United States and the world. They continue the occupation despite the media blackout. They continue the occupation despite police intimidation and violence. They remain strong and they remain true. And in one clear voice, the protesters of occupied New York City declared in one voice, we are the 99%. And we heard them not through the corporate media, but through Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr. In Los Angeles, in Seattle, in Boston, and everywhere the 99% lives, we heard them. In more than 800 cities all across America that are gathering today, we heard them. We heard their call to speak out against that 1%. We heard their call to stand up against cronyism and corporatism. And you're probably wondering, who are that 1%? It is the 1% of this country that have the money to buy elections. They are the executives of Halliburton, ExxonMobil, and of Blackwater. They're the corporate fat cats of Monsanto, General Motors, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs. They are the criminal upper class and who bleed America dry. It is the 1% of this country who are elected to government using the money raised from these corrupt corporations to win elections. And once elected, do everything they can not to represent us in the 99%. Make no mistake. Your representatives in the House of Representatives, your senators in the United States Senate, and your president in the White House are all part of that 1%. It is the 1% of this country that engineered the recession. It is the 1% of this country that gave the bailouts to these banksters using the money they stole from us in the 99%.
Yes.
This is not capitalism. This is corporatism. It is the 1% of this country that gave us the Patriot Act that protected no one and only served to destroy what little civil liberties we, the people, in 99% have. It is the 1% of this country that gave us a TSA, which every day subjects us in the 99% with daily violations of our personal dignity. It is the 1% of this country who executes prisoners like Troy Davis, even when his guilt cannot be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. It is
The beginning. So we're going to see a lot of these events all across the valley, and the event belongs to you. That is what this is all about. It used to be that people would let their representatives fly off to other cities, talk about complex jargon, confuse them, and then we would just fade into the background and take it lying down. That is no longer the case. Have you all ever been to a sporting event and you see the wave come around the stadium, and even if you're in an intense conversation, it is your time to stand up and put your arms in the air?
Yeah.
Well, that wave has hit. We are the Coachella Valley and we matter. It's a national movement, but it is a local event. Local event. We have issues and concerns that affect us directly and uniquely here in the Coachella Valley that are unlike any other thing faced any other place. And it is appropriate and correct and responsible of us to come and make this statement in front of the offices of the representative who is supposed to represent the general public. I'll tell you what, just with all of the things that people say, and there are a lot of disparate interests here, and I would like to thank J.L. Akram for speaking so valiantly. He is an Iraqi war veteran. He speaks directly to the anti-war cause and the moral total bankruptcy and financial bankruptcies that those wars are bringing to this country from a position of legitimacy, because he has actually made that sacrifice. So our hats are off to him and to all servicemen who keep this country great. There is nothing radical about a movement that comes to town and wants a reasonable and responsible life, because we live reasonable and responsible lives. We go to the shops, we pay restaurant tabs, we buy things at the store, we pay taxes on all those things. We are paying and paying and paying. I'll tell you what, I just got here to this event. I haven't had time to eat today. I stopped for coffee. I got it at Starbucks. Why do I buy it at Starbucks? Do I like Starbucks coffee? Yeah, it's great. It's coffee all over town is great. I buy it there for one reason. That particular corporation offers even their part-time employees health insurance.
Woo!
Make your dollars speak for you. Support those businesses that you believe in. We're not anti-capitalist. We're pro-capitalist. If those companies will stand up and do on their own what is right and what is correct, then we will have effective change. And if Walmart doesn't want to give their employees health insurance, that's great. Then they should turn around and write the government and tell them, you will launch national health care, because at the end of the day, all workers, all residents, all citizens in this country who pay taxes every time they go out and buy things should have access to reasonable health care. And that is not something that we can't expect in the greatest nation on earth. There is nothing radical about wanting America to be great.
Right.
There is a great person who happens to be named Bill Clinton, who once said, famously, that there is nothing wrong with America that can't be fixed with what is right about America. We are simply here to say that Occupy Coachella Valley is a movement that is part of the valley here, part of Southern California, part of the nation, and part of America, and we're not going to fade away. We're going to become bigger and bigger and bigger, because this is government by the people, for the people, and of the people. There's absolutely nothing wrong with us asking for accountability from our representatives, and we don't want to know what they're doing in general. We want to know what they're doing for our homes right here in the valley.
He's not doing anything!
Okay. Well,
He does nothing! all the local media showed up, channels 2, 3, and 6.
We have a much higher rate of unemployment here than would be natural. As you watch it on TV, you see a 9.1 unemployment all over the place, and our rate out here is more like 20-25%, depending on which Coachella Valley city you want to talk about. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that our population is 40% Hispanic, and that's not a good thing or a bad thing. That's simply a statement of fact, and that means that we have to talk about uncomfortable things like immigration reform in a broad way.
So by protesting, what are you trying to do? Are you just trying to get your face in the TV? What's the point?
Well, no, I'm on the TV every week, so I don't need to try to get my face on TV. But what's really happening here is that what we're saying is that we have a broad-based coalition here of people that really will show up to vote and really do care and really are not going to fade into the background because you get on a plane and fly out to Washington and write a check and then try to fool us with some kind of thing about how you bring a check for $1 trillion and confuse everybody. I'm an economist.
Carolyn, walk over there. Walk to that end.
We have extra signs.
Keep going. Keep going, and then we'll turn around so the cameras can see.
There's nothing on the backside, so. Great sign.
Go a little further so we can get in the shade.
Yeah. Oh, back further. You gotta go back further. Gotta go back. Back. You're almost there. You're almost there. Okay, now you can come here. There you are. Nice signs, guys. Very nice signs.
So what do you guys think? Should we start?
Jobs not cut.
Browsing?
Are you the rabble rouser?
Rabble browsing. Perfect. Great. Okay.
Do you know which one's JL?